Backstage Brew with Mark Jarvis.
Welcome to Backstage Brew. We're live from Mixing Networks, and I am back home. It's good to be back. We're with the founder and Bezzy mate, Michael. How are you, bro?
Good, thanks. Good to have you back. Welcome.
Yeah, we're talking acting today, but first, brew time. What's in your brew? Like, let's say you've got all the cast from Act-Ting. First thing in the morning, what brew are you having before you direct for the day?
Peppermint person. I tell you what I am doing as well now. I'm on the matcha hype. You hear it here first. My wife got me on it.
Yeah, marriage ruined you. I was just about to say this.
So this morning I had my little whisk and my little sieve and putting the powder in and just putting it in. It was great.
We've come a long way from Camden bar crawls.
Different man, married man now. Yeah. Different life. But I love my matcha. I'm like addicted to it. I don't drink coffee anymore. That's it. Matcha.
No coffee at all?
Nope.
And cut? I'm joking, not really. Right, so Act-Ting. Oh man, comedy mockumentary. It's a bit of me, this. Loving it. What made you come up with the actual series itself? Because, you know, obviously you run a very successful drama group that trains like professional actors who are looking to kind of own their craft in between auditions. But like, what made you think, let's do a mockumentary about it? Because we've all thought about kind of like drama schools that we went to that went wrong, or, you know, classes that we've been involved with. But what made you actually like put together a series?
Well, mockumentary's always been my favorite type of comedy. The Office is like God level, and I've probably watched it about 100 times. So I've always wanted to do a mockumentary, and as people say, write about what you know. And I run a successful acting school, but hanging around actors all day, every day, you hear horror stories, you hear all the things that actually happened at drama school, and I collected all these and was like, okay, someone's got to make this into a series.
Yeah. And I think there's probably a lot of people watching it finding it quite therapeutic as well. So come to Mixing Networks, shameless plug. Casting wise, obviously you've got like a load of amazing people in the group. Hi. Comedy wise, there's lots of great comedy actors, and like it's kind of, you've got your own field to pick from. But how did you put together the cast of characters that you wanted? Because, you know, there's hundreds of different characters that you could have included in the series.
Yeah, it was tough because every actor that we cast comes to like Mixing Network, so I know them already, and it was just teaching them, getting to know them, and just thinking about like real people, because they're all based on real people who I know, who could play it believably and who make me laugh the most. So we've had like Yasser, who plays Ganesh. That's him. Like, he is insane. He is bonkers. He's a stand-up comedian. He's just hilarious. And when I met him, I was like, I want to put this guy in a series. And Constance, who plays Lynn, she's not like that, but it's that sort of representation of that older actor who starts late, who just doesn't give a fuck, just doesn't care, will say whatever she wants. So it sort of all came organically and like knowing people over time. And even Faraz, who plays Ali, like he's not like that, but it's like an exaggeration of him. Yeah. Like if you meet him, you'd be like, wait, is this Faraz or is this Ali? Yeah. So we're just sort of pushing people's personality, but they're all based on sort of real people and extensions of real people.
Yeah, no, I think it's also like, it was weird for me watching it because obviously like I've acted and been mates with and gone on night outs with pretty much the entire cast, and they are like exaggerations of themselves. So it's like, it's literally like watching like a class that I was in, but from like a bird's eye view point of view. It was really weird, but it is really good. Did you just cast it yourself, or did you get like casting directors to do auditions or anything like that?
I just cast it myself, not to, you know, take away from casting directors' jobs, because what they do is amazing, but I just already knew the actors and I wrote the parts based on them. So what I did is, when I wrote the original series, I wrote them as their real names, and I went back and like changed them later. And there's an actor, I needed like an American actor. And I remember teaching Mia, who ends up coming in episode 3, and I was like, okay, Mia. And then when it came to the actual change of the name, I was just like, oh, I really like Mia. So Mia is called Mia in the series, which is not very original, but it's all just came from meeting them, knowing them, and just using their inspiration as who they are.
Yeah, right. Let's talk on set, directing wise, because, you know, you've got an ensemble of like 7 or 8 brilliant comedy actors from Mixing, who like, obviously I've got to work with as well. It's not always the easiest putting them in an ensemble and getting the beats to land, though. Did you have many rehearsals, or did you just do multiple takes until you found the energies, the paces, like found those little moments?
Yeah, I mean, it was tight. We shot it all in 4 days.
All the whole series?
Yes, 4 days, which is 6 episodes, equals to about, and so it's like a feature film length, which is like an hour and a half. The cheat code is that it's mockumentary, so you don't need to do like camera setups. You just like follow the action. So no rehearsals. Everyone gets in. You rehearse it, and you just find the right beats. But because I wrote it as well as directed it, I already knew what the beats were, and I knew how it needed to be done. So they just were great and took on direction. And sometimes it took 2 or 3 takes. Sometimes it took 12 takes. But it was just like a quick rehearsal, find all the comedy beats, find the moments that work, find where people's lines don't overlap other people's lines, and then get into the edit and cut around it. And some of my favorite shots were the one takes, where the camera just stays around, so we're not sort of cutting. And that's what I sort of wanted for the series. I didn't want it to be lots of different cuts. I wanted it to feel like a real low budget documentary where the camera is just following people's reactions.
Right, episode 4 is out this week, right? And I've been lucky enough to see a sneak preview. At the start of it, without giving away too many spoilers, there is the most hilarious improvisation scene. Yes, we've got to that point in the drama school. Did you actually write this scene, or did you let them improvise it? Because some of those beats honestly sent me.
Everything is written. There is a little bit of improv in some of the clips, but I'd say 98% of that show has been written. Okay. So every joke has been gone through my head 100 times, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. But that particular scene, I know, like, I wrote it, but I was like pissing myself laughing as I was writing it, and I knew that there was something there because I was writing it. And some of the jokes were a little bit risque, and I remember sending it to a few people. I was like, "Is this all right? Does this land? Is this going to offend people?" And then eventually everyone came back and was like, "No, it's great," because there's a joke about sort of Germany in there, and Manuel, who plays Otto, I was just like, "Is this offensive for German people?" He was like, "No, this is great. I love this. Let me do it." So yeah, it was all written, and thankfully the actors did it justice.
Yeah, and I think because you've got somebody who's got German connections playing that character, then it kind of blends in a little bit better as well, which is quite nice. But I think like the way it's written was just hilarious. Did you know in the build up to writing it, did you do any like R&Ds? Did you get anyone to come and do some improvisation workshops just to kind of find some things and write some things down, or was it literally all just from like memories of what you've been told?
Yeah, memories, what I've been told, jokes that I personally found funny. But the only sort of R&D is we did a read through at one point where we got all the actors who were going to play the parts. We brought in a few extra people to read some of the parts, and that sort of told me which jokes landed and which didn't. Yeah. So it was like everything was written, just created in my head, things that I found funny, and then got all the actors together. And it's amazing what it does when you hear it out loud, because it sounds funny in your head, but when it lands and someone else says it, it doesn't quite work. And then other things worked more. So it's like, okay, so that helped me go away and rewrite stuff and change the jokes. And some things were changed on the day, but I would say most of it was done in that one sort of table read.
Did you cut much out in the edit afterwards?
No.
My writing stays in.
I think in the whole series, there's probably 2 scenes has been cut, but that's because we had such little time to shoot. We didn't have loads of time to like shoot extra scenes. So like the timing was so tight that I was like, it has to work. And there was maybe like 2 talking heads, which is like the interviews in the corridor, that was like, oh, this doesn't quite land. So it's like 99% of what we shot is in the actual series, which is rare.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's pretty impressive that you've written a series and all of it's made it. Yeah. Like it's normally like 60%, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that. From short films I've done, we've cut scenes and things didn't quite land, but thankfully it sort of like lands, again, minus 1 or 2 tiny little scenes. But it also is down to the actors as well. Like they like nailed the scenes and they made it funny and they brought their own flavor to it. When we did the interviews, which are some of my favorite clips, mockumentary style, you get the action and then it cuts to like a reaction. And very often I'd be like, okay, do my version, here's a note. And then on the third version, I'd be like, improv, say what you want, do it. And some of those came into the series as well. So I was like, oh, this is great, like these guys have brought their own flavor and improv and brought some new comedy that I didn't even think of.
Nice. Exclusive wise on set, was there any moments behind the scenes where like hilarious moments happened that weren't like to do with the script? Like, did anyone just go completely off piece, or like, did anyone do something wrong and you were like, you're not coming back to class?
None of that. But for those who are familiar with the series, Yasu plays Ganesh.
It's always him.
It's always him. Anytime he did a scene, you've got people trying not to laugh, like trying not to break character. Without giving too much spoilers away, they have the end of year showcase at the end, which is like the Arts Council coming. It's all leading up to this. They have to pass. And I wrote the showcase for everyone, but I didn't tell anyone what to wear. And like he turned up in the most glittery outfit, like almost like a turban type thing. And it was like the most maddest thing. And before he even opened his mouth, everyone is just like, no, I can't. And then he did his showcase piece. And the hardest thing of the whole series is I wanted no one to laugh, because you don't want to break character. And he finished, and everyone is just like this, like you can see the back of their heads. And as soon as I yell, cut, you hear this eruption of laughter going, what the fuck? How'd you do that? And he's just there, just doing his thing, and he just made everyone laugh every scene. And it was difficult for me as well behind the camera, because I don't want laughter on the soundtrack. Yeah. I'm just there going like, I can't fucking laugh right now. I can't watch it. So yeah, that was.
Well, you're bad at this. We used to have this in class all the time. Every time comedy week, we had to shoot my things like 5 times because you couldn't stop laughing.
It's like I can't look you in the eye. It's just like, and it's the same with that thing. It's just trying not to laugh at some of the ridiculousness of it. And there's another one in episode 5 that a bit of toilet humor, a bit of fart joke. And I don't know why it's so childish, but it just cracks me up the whole time. And I'm just like behind the camera, just trying my hardest not to laugh. But hopefully that's a good sign.
Yeah, it's the dodgy samosas. Dodgy samosas, right? What else happened on set? Was there any other moments where like, you weren't expecting certain things? Did you ever have any like cast dropouts? Like what I'm getting at with this, right, is how did it lead to the point where you managed to make a cameo in the series? Was that always going to happen? Because when you walked in and said immigration, I fell off my chair.
Yeah, that was always me. Like, I sometimes put myself as like little things, like in some short movies I've done. I'm sort of in the background, or...
I was going to say, is this the real reason that Act-Ting got made? Because you've dreamt this role for yourself for the last like 5 years?
Well, there was a point where we were trying to cast our lead part, Nick, and then a few people was like, why don't you play it? Because you run a drama school, you can do this. And I was just like... I considered it for a second, and I was like, I could, and I was like, no, it's too much of a big role to do it. But I was like, I'm going to find something that I can put in, and I kept it like hidden from like the people that I teach, because I knew that they would just like freak out. So I didn't tell anyone, and I just came in and I have one line, and I was just like, shit, I'm meant to be like foreign, because I'm asking for immigration.
Oh my! If you said immigration in a Preston accent, I would have creased.
So I was like, okay, what accent can I do that's not going to be offensive to people? So I'm like, I'm half Brazilian. I've got an Italian heritage, so I'm going to go Italian. And then people were like, oh, great Indian accent. And I'm like, no, it's meant to be Italian. But I thought it would just be a fun little Easter egg, because people who watch you don't know me and don't know Mixing Networks will just see it hopefully as just like a random person.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, Iranian. I'm joking. Right. So in terms of like the rest of the series, because I did think actually you could would have been quite good for that main role, but the whole point is it's not based on mixing, so then it becomes too close. Yeah. But I think like a lot of the isms that you do in classes and stuff would have been really funny in the series, but it's based on things like we said that aren't mixing. But actually with mixing, there's lots of really good stuff. So like if people have watched the series and been like, oh, okay, this is hilarious as a series, but what's Mixing Networks about? What would you say to people who are thinking about doing a class?
I mean, mixing is like the opposite of acting, which is, I know it's a similar type thing. Mixing Networks is designed for professional actors to come in and just practice their craft, work on skills that they maybe didn't learn in drama school. Like I did a new class yesterday, and about 3 of them came up to me at the end. I was like, why didn't drama school teach me this? Like audition technique.
How many times have you been asked that?
Too many times to remember. But it's like, they need to catch up on this sort of stuff. So that's what Mixing Networks, it fills the gaps. The things, because drama schools are great. You're going to get core training, you're going to get a lot of theatre training, voice and all that stuff. But they seem to sometimes lack on not just screen stuff, but specifically audition technique.
I think at the very least there needs to be from what I mean, I got some camera training at drama school because I went to Aura, but like in terms of when you leave, there needs to be some sort of education in terms of what is your professional side training? Like, how do you still maintain your skills? How do you stay fresh? How do you keep going to classes whilst you are auditioning? Because essentially when you leave drama school, I think what you miss, obviously people talk about it and your friends and colleagues and, cohort will tell you about things, but you don't know where to continue training in between classes. And if you don't act for like 4 years, you lose all of those core trainings.
Yeah. It's the same thing with anything in life. If you go to the gym every day, and then you stop for 6 months, you lose it. It's sports, you lose it. And it's the same with acting. There used to be an old mentality that you go to drama school, you know everything, and that's it. And some actors will go straight into work, and you're practicing every day when you're working. But what happens when you're not working? You're just sort of waiting for the next job, or you're in between jobs. You need to stay sharp, and that's what Mixing Networks is for, is essentially. But we've also branched out, and we do like a foundation course now. We work with newer actors, people who are new to the industry, to come in, and we give them a base training that we feel like, again, drama schools are sort of missing, which is screen technique as well as voice and movement and Stanislavski and all that stuff. But yeah, imagine it's like a weekly gym for actors. Essentially, that's what Mixing Networks is. Yeah,
and essentially it's for actors who have been to drama school, been on Spotlight, got an agent, so actually like in the industry, like it's kind of like a supplement, really.
Yeah, exactly that. It's supplement, keep sharp, but also teach you new things that maybe you didn't know. Because when you're self-taping, especially these days, it used to be that you could go into the room, but a lot of it is self-tapes these days. It can be quite lonely. You don't really know what you're doing sometimes. You're receiving information in a self-tape request, and then you throw it out into the dark. You don't hear anything. You don't know if that's good or not. You don't have that reaction in the room where it's like, great, that's really good, but this. So that's what we do at Mixing Networks, is we bring you in, we put you on tape, we watch it back on the TV. It's so important to be able to analyze your work these days, and show you what's working and maybe what you're still lacking and what you need to work on.
Yeah, don't get put off by that if you don't like watching your own work. Like, it's a really like good, honest feedback, and like the rest of the group feedback as well. And it's not like it's nice, it's fair, it's professional, but it's not just like, oh, you're amazing. It's like actually like good critique as well. Like, it's something that it's like a community that you've really built, kind of almost you've trained people how to give feedback.
Yeah, I think it's important. Again, I was talking about this yesterday with my class. I could show a tape to an actor and I'd be like, what do you think works and what do you think doesn't? And they will like go through every detail and nail it. And then I'll show them the same scene but of them, and they'll be like, oh, I don't know how to do it. And it's like they can't remove that barrier of it's me, and they struggle to self-analyze. And the reason it's an important skill is because you're the one who's watching your self-tapes, you're the one who's submitting it to your agent or submitting it straight to casting. So you have to know what's working. And if you start to look at it, oh, it's me, I don't like my face, I don't like what my nose is doing, you're never going to be happy. It's a skill that you have to learn to almost look at it like it's not quite you, it's like a version of you. Or if it's easier, it's someone else. It's me playing a character. And then once you start to learn how to analyze your tapes, which again we'll teach you at Mixing Networks, your self-tapes improve, because you do it, you watch it, you see what works. If it's great, you send it off. If not, you go back and do it again.
I also know the answer to this, but how many people have booked jobs recently?
Too many to count.
That could be you.
Yeah, it's not a guarantee, of course. You know, this is art, but sometimes it's just actors who are really great actors, but they just don't know how to audition or self-tape. So we just sort of unlock that little key to be like, look, you've got all this potential, but you're not quite nailing your like audition part, which is a different skill. It is a different skill. When you're on set, it's great. You've got the actors there, you've got the director. It's so much easier. It's harder to self-tape. So once we start to teach you how to sort of unlock the self-tape skill, people just fly.
It's funny you say that. Like, listening to you say that, I was like, oh, actually, it really clicked in my head. Then I was like, drama school teaches you how to be on set. Yeah. It doesn't necessarily give you the self-tape skills. It teaches you all the character stuff, but a lot of the time you haven't got time to go through your 20 Stanislavski methods. Like, because you're at work in Tesco. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's quite difficult. But yeah, no, that's a really good point. Before we go, anything else that's on the horizon? Any more short films? You've had loads of really good ones in festivals and stuff recently.
Yeah, so the big thing is Act-Ting. That's like my world right now. So series 2 will be coming out at some point. We'll start writing that. And I'm still in development for a feature film called Knifer, which will hopefully get some funding this year, and we can pick up and start shooting that.
Dream. There you go, Michael. Pleasure. And have fun drinking all the matcha.
Love it. Once you convert, you don't go back.
Sounds like a nunnery, to be honest.
Because life is better when you've got a cuppa on the go. This is Backstage Brew.